Welcome back to the Wild Files, the podcast where we talk hiring, leadership, growth, retention, people strategy, and all the truths many MSP leaders only fully appreciate once they become, painful, expensive, or both. I'm your host, Jane Matthews, founder of Wildcat Careers, where we work exclusively with MSPs to fix broken hiring processes, craft cultures people actually want to work in, and build teams that succeed with the right people in the right seats. And today on the Wildfires, we're talking about something that a lot of MSPs still massively underestimate: your hiring process. Now, when many leaders hear the phrase hiring process, they picture administration. A role goes live, CVs come in, someone screens them, a few interviews happen, someone gets offered, job done. Simple, transactional, necessary, unremarkable. But candidates do not experience it like that at all. To candidates, your hiring process is not admin. It's evidence. Evidence of how organised you are, evidence of how leaders communicate, evidence of whether decisions get made, evidence of whether time is respected, evidence of whether joining you would feel exciting or exhausting. And here's the truth many MSPs miss. For a candidate, the hiring process is often the first real working experience of your MSP. Before they join, before they meet the wider team, before they see your systems, before they understand your culture, they experience you through process. And if that process feels messy, vague, slow, careless, disjointed, or arrogant, they make conclusions, sometimes quietly, sometimes instantly, sometimes permanently. Today, we're going to unpack why hiring process shapes reputation, why good people walk away without saying the real reason, how delays quietly damage growth, and how MSPs can create a process that gives confidence instead of concern. Because the way you hire tells people how you run. Right, let's get into it. Now, we all judge process. It's not even a recruitment thing. It's a human thing. We judge process constantly. You order from a website. Checkout is clunky. Emails do not arrive. Tracking links, well, that's broken. You immediately trust the company less. You book a restaurant. You get no confirmation. You arrive. No one knows you're booking. You start doubting the evening before starters even arrive. You check into a hotel. Receptions, well, they're confused. Your room's not ready. Your keys do not work when you get to your room. And suddenly you question the whole stay. That is process psychology. See, small moments create big assumptions, and hiring works exactly the same way. Candidates think if arranging interviews is chaotic, what are projects like? If nobody replies on time, well, what is management like? If interviewers contradict each other, what is internal communication like? If they cannot decide now, how do they actually lead daily? Fair or unfair doesn't matter. It happens. See, your process is brand in motion. Many MSPs think their brand is logo, colours, and website. Nice try. Brand is experience, how people feel when they deal with you. And a hiring process is employer brand in motion. Anyone can say we're professional, we're people first, we value excellence, we care about communication. Lovely. Then a candidate waits 10 days for an update after an interview. Suddenly the truth feels, different. Your process either confirms your claims or exposes them. That's why it matters so much. The silent candidate drop-off. Here is something leaders underestimate. Many candidates do not reject you loudly. They fade. They become, slower to reply, less enthusiastic, less engaged. Then they withdraw politely, or they accept elsewhere, or decide to stay put. And MSPs often say, shame we lost them. They rarely ask why, honestly. Sometimes it was salary, sometimes it was timing, but often it was friction. Death by small doubts. Delay, silence, confusion, lack of momentum. That is preventable loss. Now, the speed myth. Now, let's talk speed carefully. I'm not saying rush recklessly. I'm saying move with intent. Many leaders confuse slow with thorough. They believe more stages equals more rigor. Sometimes, often not. Sometimes more stages simply means unclear decision-making disguised as professionalism. A good process can be robust and efficient. A poor process can be long and useless. Length alone proves nothing. Why strong candidates won't wait? Strong candidates are usually already in motion. They may be speaking elsewhere, they may have recruiters contacting them, they may have an internal counter-offer brewing, they may simply have limited patience. So when one company says, we'll let you know in 2 weeks, and another says, great conversation, next stage tomorrow, decision by Friday, guess which feels safer? Clarity wins, momentum wins, respect wins. The best candidates rarely sit still while businesses ponder endlessly. Now, the calendar invite test. Want to know how quickly people judge you? Calendar invites. Seriously. If interview invites are clear, prompt, and polite, well, trust rises. If they're late, vague, or wrong, trust drops. Wrong time zone, no location, no agenda, no names of people they're meeting, no contact details, well, no preparation notes, and they're tiny things, I know, but they're huge signals. Because candidates think, well, if this is sloppy, what else is sloppy? Now, the chaotic interview experience. We've all seen it. Interviewer joins late, camera off, clearly has not read the CV. Asked questions already answered on said CV. Second interviewer joins 10 minutes later. Someone forgets the role details. The salary, well, that's unknown. No one explains the growth path. No next steps. Then, do you have any questions? Well, the candidate's going to say to himself or herself, yes, mostly around whether this company is held together by string. One bad interview can undo weeks of attraction because candidates imagine daily life, and daily life matters more than promises. Now, I want you to imagine booking a highly rated restaurant. You arrive, no greeting, reservation missing. You have to wait 20 minutes. The water that you ordered never comes. The wrong starter arrives. Staff look stressed. The manager's nowhere. Now, even if the main course is lovely, the experience is damaged. That is hiring. By the time you make the offer, emotional context already exists. If context is stressful, the offer has to rescue trust. And guys, that is harder than readers actually realise. Now, silence is never neutral. One of the most expensive myths in hiring is this. Well, if we give no update, it's neutral. It isn't. Silence becomes a story. And candidates, they fill those gaps themselves. Maybe the company's disorganised. Maybe they're not that interested in me. Maybe they treat their staff like this. Well, maybe leadership is chaotic. Maybe I dodged something. Your silence will always be interpreted. So communicate. Even if the update is we need 2 more days. That is definitely better than disappearing. Now, guys, candidate experience is commercial. Some people hear candidate experience and think, well, that's a fluffy HR topic. No, candidate experience affects quality of hire. Quality of hire affects performance. Performance affects your clients. Your clients, well, that affects revenue. That chain starts earlier than people think. Sometimes with a timely email, sometimes an interviewer who cared enough to prepare, sometimes with feedback delivered respectfully. You see, professionalism compounds. Now, hiring delays also hurt your internal teams too. While you wait, existing staff absorb that workload. Managers cover the gaps, senior engineers carry escalations, and your service slips, and your morale and your staff drops, and their patience, well, that thins. And your team starts asking, are they actually replacing this role or not? Do they actually understand the pressure we're under? You see, leadership indecision often feels like indifference to overloaded teams, and that matters. Now, let's talk candidate feedback. Now, you don't need essays, you don't need a 4-page report, but respect matters. A clear no with reasons often leaves a better impression than ghosting someone you liked. You reject candidates, and those rejected candidates, you never know, they could become your future hires. They could become your referrers, or even your clients, your advocates, or your critics. Every candidate leaves with a story. I want you to choose the story. Now, the MSP world is smaller than you think, especially in MSP circles where reputation travels. People know people. Engineers talk. Account managers talk. Us recruiters, well, we hear everything. Leaders compare notes. One poor process can reach many ears. Likewise, one brilliant process can too. The market is smaller than you may think, and that means every interaction has an echo. Now, what does a great process feel like? A great process feels calm, has clear stages, known timelines, prepared interviewers, relevant questions, prompt follow-up, warmth, decisive movement, honest expectations, respect. Notice none of that is expensive. Most of it is discipline. Now, I want to speak to you about speed without sloppiness. Now, let me repeat this clearly. Fast does not mean careless. You can assess properly and move quickly. You can compare fairly and move quickly. You can protect standards and move quickly. See, speed often comes from ownership. Who books stage 2? Who decides? Who gives feedback? Who signs off offers? Where ownership is vague, that's where delay thrives. Now, what can MSPs fix this month? So if I was advising an MSP today, I would say to them, map every single stage. Cut one unnecessary stage. It can probably be amalgamated with another one. Create communication service levels. Train your interviewers. Use scorecards for consistency. Agree the decision ownership. Book next stages quickly. Update when you promised. Measure candidate drop-off. Small systems, big gains. Now, ask yourself honestly, if your best future hire entered your process tomorrow, what would they feel? Confidence? Energy? Respect? Momentum? Or friction? Delay? Mixed messages? Silence? That answer tells you more than any dashboard. Now, leaders are often shocked when an offer gets declined. They think, well, but the salary was good. The role was strong. We really liked them. Yes, but trust may have been weakened earlier. Offers do not exist in isolation, you see. They land on top of every prior interaction. If there's a messy journey, that offer is weaker. If there's a strong journey, that offer is stronger. And that is psychology, guys. The hiring process is not something candidates tolerate to get to the real company. To them, it is the real company until proven otherwise. That in itself changes everything. So let's land this properly, guys. Your hiring process is your reputation in motion. Every email, every delay, every interview, every schedule, every update, every decision. It all tells candidates who you are before they ever join. And strong candidates notice. And strong candidates have choices. So if you want better hires, do not just improve adverts. Improve the experience. If you want better If you want better acceptance rates, do not just improve salary. Improve confidence. If you want stronger reputation, do not just post culture content. Build a process that behaves like the company you claim to be. Organised, sharp, respectful, human. Because when process creates trust, hiring gets easier. Stay structured, stay responsive, stay respected. And as always, remember to stay wild.